Good morning, everyone, and welcome to News Extra. Today we're talking about a very special event that's coming up fairly soon. It's the 2019 Polar Plunge, and my guests today are Sheriff Mark Overman from Bluff County, as well as Sergeant Chris Baer with the Nebraska State Patrol. Thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you, Scott.
Thanks, Scott. Good morning.
Of course, the Polar Plunge, it's a lot of fun every year, seeing how creative people can be in, first of all, gathering donations to benefit Special Olympics of Nebraska. But first things first, people have to be interested in forming a team, and I know that process is going on right now, right?
Yes, it is, Scott, and it's really easy to do that. Everything's on links, but get some people together. For a lot of people, jumping into the North Platte River in February and doing a polar plunge is kind of a bucket list and bucket list type of thing.
Yep.
And we ask every plunger to raise $50. And usually, if you ask, what we found is if you ask people to participate in the polar plunge, if they don't have to and they can just give you money, they're willing to do that.
They'll do that as well. Yeah, and I know it's been on my bucket list. I did it a couple years in a row. Previously. Of course, there is some safety that people have to keep in mind as they hop into the frigid confines, I guess, of that water. Chris, what are some of the things that polar plungers should probably keep in mind if they're going to take part?
Well, Scott, of course, we want people to be safe and we want them to have fun and enjoy this event tremendously. So there's some just general guidelines when you do the plunge. We ask that you wear some type of footwear because we're jumping into the North Platte River. Yeah. That you bring a change of warm clothes we have a changing area that they'll be able to change into after the event, towel, etc., that type of thing. We do have the dive crew and emergency personnel that are present just in case something would go wrong. So we keep safety in mind with this event. We're also one of the events in the state. We're the only event in the state that actually has hot tubs.
I was wondering if that was going to be there again.
Yeah, so we have some hot tubs. You're able to go from the river directly to the hot tubs, get your warm on a little bit, and then go to the changing tents, get changed into some warm, dry clothes, and then proceed from there to a post-plunge after party. Yeah,
which is a lot of fun. The entire event, it's really enjoyable to see what people decide to put together for teams, because sometimes they'll do a theme of one thing or another. What are some of the more creative ones that you guys have seen over the course of the years?
Oh my gosh, it's only limited by your imagination. We've had such wild stuff down there, and I mean, people can come up with anything. There's been a lot of movie themes and
office worker themes.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, some of the best has been Chris Baer and his movies. You wouldn't even recognize him sometimes.
So I guess we try to get creative, Scott, and have fun with it, and maybe draw some other people to have some fun with us.
Oh yeah, and of course when you take that dip into the North Platte River, I can speak from experience. It is not. People think, oh my gosh, it's going to be terrible, and it's nowhere near that. It really isn't as far as getting into that water and getting out. It's brisk, mind you, but it's certainly a lot of fun taking part in that. Over the course of the years, it's been a while since law enforcement has been involved with polar plunge, and of course, law enforcement's always been involved with the torch run for Special Olympics for years. But it's been 8 years or so.
This is our 8th annual.
Okay.
Panhandle Polar Plunge, and so Chris and I and a number of other people have been on that committee since the get-go, and so we've got such strong community support here, and this community gets behind things, and you just see this over and over how generous this community is, and this is to benefit Special Olympics, so it's a really good event and a really good cause. Yeah,
it certainly is. We're going to come back in just a moment, talk a little bit more about how you can take part in the Polar Plunge this year with taking a look at the website, as well as how the event benefits Special Olympics specifically. We'll be right back in just a moment. And we're back on News Extra, and my guests are Chris Baer, Sergeant with the Nebraska State Patrol, and Bluff County Sheriff Mark Overman. We're talking about the 2019 Polar Plunge. And, gentlemen, it's real easy if somebody wants to put together a team. There's web access to start the process, and it's real easy to get to, right?
We've made it very simple, Scott. We've we've taken everything that's on the Special Olympics website, and with their permission, we've put it all onto a single link, and it's on the Scottsbluff County website. So if you go to scottsbluffcounty.org, right at the top of the site, there's a polar plunge, a picture of the polar plunge, and
Yep.
as soon as you click on that, it will take you to all of the information you need, all of the links. It'll take you to, you can go to a first giving page, and it's really easy to set up your own page. It's really easy to set up a team page. We already have some teams set up. I know Chris's team is set up. Our team is set up. So it's really easy. All the information you need is in one spot.
Yeah, and then of course, Chris, not just online and social media ways to get people to make their donations and pledges to teams, but certainly in person as well, correct?
Sure, absolutely. And I know Sheriff and I would be we'd be happy to assist you with doing that. If you want to contact either one of us, we can direct you to maybe your favorite group that's out there, or you can donate or volunteer in any way. There's a lot of ways to give back to Special Olympics.
And I was going to say the contacts, both yours and Mark's are there, right there on the Panhandle Polar Plunge contact list of 6 or 7 people that if you have questions, need some help, that can certainly help you out in putting together a team specifically for this. Now, of course, this benefits Special Olympics of Nebraska. Talk a little bit about how these monies really do help with these kids and these individuals that take part in Special Olympics.
Well, they have to. A lot of them have to travel to go to the Special Olympics events, and so we help them. We help the local teams, and we help the state to some extent too, because it costs the state money to put on these annual events.
Sure.
The state games, and so it's expensive. We've got a couple of local teams here, and for them to travel, often they need to rent a bus, and they have expenses once they get there, they have some expenses that are covered and some that are not. So it's expensive for those families to participate, but the people that participate, the Special Olympians, they are just so thankful. If you've ever been to one of these events, they have such a good time, so much fun, and it's a chance for them to really enjoy life.
And have either of you ever been to? I guess usually it's in Lincoln, if I recall correctly, where they have the big Special Olympian meet. Have either of you actually been able to be there and witness it?
I have not. I believe the Sheriff has.
I've been there a couple
You
of
have
times. And I go to some of the local events, and I know Chris goes to local events regularly too. And be it a local event or a state event, it's just when you go there, it is so rewarding. Yeah,
and it's not about necessarily who wins; it's about participation and doing your best, and everybody is uplifted because of that.
Yeah. Everybody wins.
Yeah, it's a really neat situation for the Special Olympics of Nebraska. Of course, when it comes to the Panhandle Polar Plunge, ours is a little bit later in the month of February than everybody else's. Already Kearney has had theirs. Omaha has had theirs. I know that in past years you could try to have a little bit of a friendly competition with them to see who could raise the most in their polar plunges. Is that the case again this year?
It is, Scott. We've actually competed, if you want to call it that.
Yeah.
We've actually done very well in the context of larger cities.
Yep, definitely.
This particular area is just so giving, as the sheriff said, with this event. It's an event in the middle of winter. It is a polar plunge, not a tropical plunge, so we do it in February.
This part is true.
But there's not a lot else going on, so we really encourage people to come out. If they're interested, come out. You can actually register on site if you decide late to do this event. We would gladly, put you in and get you registered that morning. We start registering at 9:30, and the event will kick off at 11 o'clock that morning.
Yeah, and you don't necessarily have to have a team. If you want to be an individual that takes part in this, you can do this as well.
That's right. We encourage individuals, and we've had a lot of teams, and we've had a lot of individuals, and our team is open to about anybody. We've had some beauty queens that wanted to jump with us, and that raised the caliber of our team a lot. But we call this our party by the river, because we're going to have some announcers there, and we're going to have music, and and it's going to be fun. It's fun every year.
Yeah, it's a nice festive atmosphere, and it's coming up on February 23rd. That's the Panhandle Polar Plunge. Check-in does begin at 9:30 in the morning. On the 23rd, the individual and team plunging starting at 11:30, and then immediately following, we have the post-plunge party, enjoying some nice food and beverages. And the people that take part also end up usually getting a T-shirt or something as long.
Right. You'll get a T-shirt, and we give some prizes for various things.
Sure.
At our post-plunge party that's at the YMCA camp, so it's just down the road.
Yep, and that's just coming up on the 23rd, folks. Get your teams together. Let's make a big splash for the Special Olympics of Nebraska with the 2019 Polar Plunge right here in the Panhandle. Gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us today.
Okay, thank you, Scott.
Thanks, Scott. We appreciate you helping us with freezing for a reason.
Sounds great.